Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday, kind of coffee chat, but coffee chat. I'm Dr. Jane Ruby, I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beautiful day. Sorry for those of you up north, beautiful day here in South Florida. Very normal clouds for today. They must be taking the day off. Dr. Jane Ruby, Words of Wisdom. A beautiful gift cup from last year, actually. And on the other side, really important to what I'm going to talk about, which is, it says, show me. Show me, which stands for science heals only with medical evidence. So why is that important? Let's talk about it. Because we've got lies coming out of everything and everybody. And I'm going to sort through the majority of them. I'm going to give you a different perspective than maybe you have had this previous week. First of all, what am I drinking in the early afternoon? I'm drinking something I started doing. I got a nut milk maker as a gift from a follower, supporter. I'm very grateful. They wanted to remain anonymous. They live down here in Florida. Anyway, I'm honoring their wishes. And so what I did was I made a nut milk with a handful of raw cashews and 10 of John Richardson's, the apricot vitamin B17 apricot seeds that are inside the pits. So I took them out of the bag. I get them from him and his store and blended them with a little bit of homemade vanilla with a vanilla bean and some alcohol. And it's been in there for months infusing. And it's just, God, it's so wonderful. And a little bit of Ceylon cinnamon. So cheers. Okay. I'm going to break it right around here. For those of you on podcast, teaser, please go over to Substack, subscribe, and listen to the entire full podcast. Okay, so lies all around us. Let's start with big popular one this week, the MTG Thomas Massie situation. What have you learned in the last 5 years? Or what have you not learned, I should say? You should have learned that nobody in Congress is trustworthy. But Massie, but MTG, they're the only ones fighting for us. Get a grip. Get a grip. This is not my opinion. Why would you handpick what they threw out to you, what they handpicked and threw out to you? Two people that have been having different wars with Trump. Now, I'm not on any side, okay? So before I go any further, this is not to stand with, for example, Trump and his disrespectful, disgusting commentaries that ginned up a lot of infighting and fighting in general back and forth with MTG and Tom Massie. You got to stop thinking it's one side or the other. Or Jane, if you don't trust Massie and MTG, then you must be for what Trump's doing right now, which none of us are happy at. No, you got to stop that. You really have to stop that. The world is not always binary, okay? The world is not always binary. Don't you see the pattern when these like little fires erupt? You know, Trump calling out Massie, disparaging him, recently trying to embarrass the guy after he got remarried. Who cares? That's his personal life. Who cares if there was something you didn't like about it because it wasn't enough time in your estimation that his wife had been passed away? That's his business. Honestly, whether I like him or not, that's his business. And it's between him and God, actually. You know, if there's anything wrong going on in there, that's between him and God. And then MTG, because, she's doing her little dog and pony dance now. Release the Epstein files. Now she's a hero, right? Guys, that's just an act. She's going to zig and zag, then she'll be against it. She didn't do anything when she could have. She voted differently. It's the same playbook. I really, really ask you to sit back and really think about it. Because too many of you continue to fall and fall and fall over and over and over again for the same playbook. It's so obvious. And I see some, prominent influencer people. I'm not going to name names and piss them off, but there's a ton of them. People coming out, we got to stand. I stand with MTG and I stand with Thomas Massie because Trump was, wrong. And don't stand with any of them. Honey, they're all on the same side. In fact, there is no side. It's just one group. And they got this down to a science. Pardon the pun. But they have this down, this jerking you around and back and forth and up and down. They've got it down to a science. And you guys are unwittingly, apparently, performing and begging for more like circus seals. Thomas Massie, I said to him a long time ago when he sent me a tweet and said, what, are you a real doctor? I said, oh, okay, Malone. And then he's hanging out with Malone when Malone does his, I got to go to Capitol Hill because I'm so important to testify. I said first of all, you exempted yourself. You did not protest exempting yourself like the other 534 cockroaches on Capitol Hill from the shots. And you sat back while some of us civilians, me with a bunch of JAG lawyers in the fall of 2021, worked together, put documents together, affidavits to try to stop the military mandates. But you guys just went about your business, didn't take the shot, right? Got your perks and goodies, traveled on our dime, did all your, pretended to fight for us, the American people, right? So right from the start, the fact that he stayed in Congress, Massie, and people say, but he's doing so much, he's the only one talking about it. Now they get points for talking about it? Come on. Points for talking about it? God, some of you have such low expectations of these people, and these people know it, and they get away with murder, and they love it because they're making millions of dollars every year as they enrich themselves, get reelected because they do what they're told, and the machine keeps them in. MTG, total fraud. But she's helping. Oh my God, she's America first. Oh, she doesn't take any APAC money. You think she doesn't take money from any special interests? See, that's where the public is easy to dupe, which drives me nuts. You got one category, APAC. She doesn't take APAC money. Zero. Okay. But she takes millions of dollars from other interest groups. Aren't you concerned about that? Are you concerned about what she takes from pharma? You should be. I'm not going to do all your research for you. I'm just going to point you in the right direction. On top of that, every congressional member files a federal financial disclosure form. They're responsible for it. They sign it, hand signature on it. And she's got hundreds of stocks. Not mutual funds. The mutual funds are listed, but she's got straight up stocks. And I don't begrudge them, even though I know that they made insider trading legal for themselves, which is disgusting. How we ever let them get away with that is beyond me. But my eyes started as I went down the list. And I've posted her financial disclosure form. You can click on it and look at the whole thing. And you can go year by year. But I'm going down the list and I see CRISPR, AG technology. CRISPR? Right? CRISPR, that technology that's able to cross the cell barrier, get into the cell and splice open the nucleus with the DNA and intermix your DNA with animals and fetal and cancer cells and all that. Yeah, that AG, that CRISPR-Cas9. She owns stock in the company. That's part of the DoD mass genocide weapon. She owns Gilead Sciences. If in case you don't know, Gilead makes remdesivir. It's killing Americans every day in our hospitals. Yeah, she's been called out on it a million times, just ignores it. Just, stands in her gym. She's like 3 feet tall. She's got, with her muscles and everything. Phony. Most people don't know how to feed their family tomorrow. But you've got a home gym. That's nice. That's nice. Because you also have one in probably Capitol Hill. But let's just spend the money everywhere. So don't talk to me about Massie and MTG. I'm going to stand with Massie and MTG because they're the only ones standing with me. They're not standing for shit. And they're not standing for you. They're standing for themselves. Lies, lies. And you're buying it over and over. Same playbook. Same series of steps. Same thing. And you jump over and go, you transfer your hope. Oh, I'm going to stand with them because they seem to be doing something about it. They're not doing anything about it. How many times do you go through the same process and not realize there are no sides? When I say all 535, and I might be off by, I know the gerrymandering and the number changes on Capitol Hill, but you get what I'm saying. All is the operative word, not the number. All 535 cockroaches, every senator, every representative are on the same team, and they're in on it. They're in on everything. And they know that they have laws to protect their breaking the law. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Tell me what she's done. Not said and not held for the cameras a hearing for the COVID jab injured with the same freaking people, basically. Malone. Unfortunately, I don't want to speak badly of my friend, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Teresa Long. She's the one that put me together with Hirschman, the first embalmer, and I broke the worldwide story in 22. But she's very, just very admiring of Bobby, because I think she was hoping to get into HHS. They wouldn't let somebody like her in, and I love her dearly. I wish she could go in. They're not going to let her in for the same reason they're not going to let me in, because she's a truth teller. But she seems a little, snared, just praising him. Same thing with Sherry Tenpenny. These people are losing me. You're gonna praise this guy when he's done nothing to remove the mRNA? How's that for a lie? We're gonna clean up the skies. Kennedy's known. He's known for many years. He's been talking to Dane Wigington at geoengineering.org, watch.org. I know because I interviewed Dane a few times. And we talked about it. And as much as he hated to admit it, because it hurts, because he had hope for Kennedy too, Dane said he knows. He knows everything. He knows it's real. And yet he doesn't do anything about it, just like he hasn't done anything about the mRNA. I'm trying to get you to see this, because you're slowing the movement down when you start to accept it. I'm going to stand with MTG and Massie, or I'm still waiting for Bobby to remove the mRNA, even though babies are getting shot up with it every day. You're still waiting. You're holding the movement back. Because if you could all get up to the front and say, damn, they're lying. Damn, it's all lies. You'll find a better solution. You'll find a solution. Because remember what I always said, and I always say, if you don't see the right problem, you'll never find the right solution. Sounds catchy, sounds like a little jingle, but it's pure truth. My first doctorate is in psychology, non-clinical. I'm not a therapist, but was research and advanced, sort of understanding. And you really dig deep into aspects of the human psyche and how the human mind works. And what I wanted to say about that is that denial. People go, that can't be true. There's no way that's... You think Trump would do that to us? You think this one would... Denial is a protective, what we call a protective mechanism. You know, there are some things that are very hard to face in life. One of them is that you allowed yourself to be injected, thinking it was a helpful vaccine, with a military-grade biological weapon that's making you sick every day, but you don't want to admit it. Because people go, you took it? What? How? You know, that fear shuts the mind. The mind is self-protective. You think the body, you know, with the immune system protects the physical? Yes, but you have protective mechanisms in the mind so that you can not freak out. Or at least to delay the freak out so you can get a grip. Denial is probably it is a legitimate self-protective mechanism, defense mechanism, and it's probably one of the top 2 or 3 most powerful, the force of it. You can't help it. It's survival. And it works against us when we need people to kind of hurry up and see this. It's the way we can be saved. And look, I said it in a tweet earlier, a response earlier today. If I thought that people were taking this mRNA shot in 2021, 2022 and beyond, and that they were just going to end up dead or sick the rest of their lives, and that ended there, dudes and dudettes, I'd be done. I mean, I would still, you know, be truthful and let people know and warn people so that no new people took it. But it's not going to end there. Just like a lot of these things are not going to end here. You're going to say, MTG and Massie, I'm going to stand with them. Then you're going to go back to your little, you know, den and curl up and watch TV and think everything's okay. And it's not. So denial is incredibly powerful, but it holds us back as a group. And so something as dangerous as the mRNA shots, the more people that take them, the more at risk the rest of us are to get bleeding over, shedding. I don't mean blood. I mean just sort of, we know that something transfers. Pfizer admitted it. And fertility. The fertility rate's going down. You're like, oh, yeah, whatever, it's this generation. It'll perk up in the years. No. This is a permanent poisoning of the human genome. It's a permanent poisoning. You saw Dr. Young-Mi Lee's work, the doctor from Korea. She's a fertility specialist, and she's a microscopy expert. So that's a really interesting combination. And by incubating the sperm of jabbed men, we're now into the 3rd year of her long-term observational incubation study. But by incubating the sperm, keeping it moist in a neutral medium, you know, in an environment that's, you know, close to the human body, you can see where fertility would collapse. The sperm are screwed up. Many of them don't have a tail. You don't have a tail, you're not going anywhere, not getting into an egg. Many of them have structures, like heavy metal type, you know, looks like circuitry structures embedded in the growing out of them. You know, it's just so messed up that it's not going to function properly as a fertilization tool into an egg. Not to mention the other things, you know, that are being in that fluid, that seminal fluid with sperm. Terrible. So there's a lot of denial. It's hard to take in. I allowed myself to be hurt. I committed, you know, one of the toughest things to admit to yourself is a self-harm order. Or a self-harm that you unforced error. That's what I was thinking of for that. Self-harm order relates to the military. This is an unforced error. You did something that ended up hurting yourself, but you didn't mean to, and it could have been avoided. Unforced error. Worst, one of the worst kinds. So the government, according to Catherine Watt, has been lying to us, attacking us hurting us, keeping us down, stealing money from us, robbing us of our earnings and all that for centuries. But I think it really became obvious the awakening of it more than ever before in any time before in history with the COVID scam. And so in the years 21, 22, 23, 24, and now, more people than ever understand that the government lied and is lying. Even state governments. These chemtrails, these state-by-state bans, now, if you follow me, that they're fake. Because these legislators know that it's not going to amount to anything, but it's great to have it on the books. And, this one's a sponsor and that one's on that committee, and we got it done for you, JQ Public. We got it done. No, you didn't get anything done and you know it, but you can fundraise on it for your next. So every part of government is lying to you and me. That's why it's particularly disturbing when I see, and social media is just a cross-section, but it's a pretty damn good one over many demographics and culturally and racially and all that, right? So hard to watch when so many of you, after living through that, and some of you even surviving and thriving from it, I will never do that again, but you'll do 5 other things like it. I'll never mask up. I'll never do this. I'll never walk out, be forced in a restaurant. I'll never. But you'll do 5 other things like it when it comes up, when there's been a buffer of time and it comes up in a different context. That's what blows my mind. Everything's a lie and everything's a theater. This Maha summit, how much did we pay for that? Probably a lot, right? Kennedy got to be a little darling. Nobody was allowed in that would call him out and ask him about the mRNA shots, about, Fruit Loops over babies' lives. Nobody. It was all the people that go along with the lie about state bans of chemtrails, people that went along with the lie that, the childhood schedule is safer now, even though nothing's changed. I mean, it just went on and on and on. And then there's Cheryl Hines, the first lady of the HHS, the left-wing lunatic who was in Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. Cheryl Hines is RFK Jr.'s wife. The bitch who used to demand that nobody could come to a dinner party unless they either had a vaccination card and their mask. Cheryl Hines. Now, she's a little darling in the social circle of D.C. Pretty nice, huh, Cheryl? Right? Left-wing lunatic. Under a previous Trump administration, she wouldn't have been able to show her face in D.C. But now it's all, oh, your husband, oh, this, oh, that. She's a far left wing Marxist liberal Jew. She's living the life, living the dream with her husband, the fraud, the mRNA fraud. And you've seen countless examples of RFK Jr. reading it right, seeing the fraud, seeing the corruption, and contrasted with, he looks like he's saying different things, he's a different person. That's a lie. Now, well, he must be blackmailed, and he must something must have happened. The worm in his brain. Occam's razor, okay? Occam's razor, please. All things being equal, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. He's a liar. Everybody so they're in the government. Once they get in the government, they lie. That should tell you that they're all liars. The government is a lying machine on every level. The only chance you have to root it out is at your local level. If you let that slip, you're done. You're done in your area. Your local town, if you have a small city, whatever it is, your town council, those are the ones you got to get your, right, you put your boot on their neck, tell them you're not taking this anymore, and you're not spending money on this and that. Now you're going to be accountable to the people. That's what has to happen, but you have to care enough to go do it. But the point is that, including local level, they're going to lie, and they are lying. Every level of government. Lies. So, you know how you say, if somebody in due process, a citizen is innocent until proven guilty. Well, it's reverse for government. And what is government but the people in it? Whether they're appointed in it or we used to elect them. You get what I mean. Or they're voted in. Right? That's the government. I'm not talking about some obscure, abstract, thing in the sky. I'm talking about people that comprise our government. They're liars. If they didn't lie on the outside, like Kennedy didn't seem to be lying, and I didn't think he'd go that far to flip his value, but he went 180 because I thought, well, maybe he'll go like 10 or 20 degrees, kind of softening. No, he went 180. He did a complete flip on everything he ever talked about. That's lying. That's not, oh, well, maybe he's being blackmailed and he can't say anything. Blink twice, Bobby, if you're under duress. He's lying. They're lying. Always assume first they're lying. Then go dig up or let them prove to you, either way, that they're not. But the first springing off point should be they're lying. I know they're lying. They've lied 1,000 times before. They're lying. Okay, so let me dig back into what they're doing and saying. You'll probably have the lying affirmed. And on rare occasion, maybe one particular thing you'll find that they weren't. But the point is, assume they're lying from the get-go and then go from there. Everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. And if you don't start taking that as your first position and then working back from that, you're going to continue to fall into this. You're just going to keep going on the hamster wheel of government lying to you and you looking for hope and transferring that hope to, you just shuffling it. It's like musical chairs. You're just taking MTG and Massie and you're moving them down to some other chairs further down because they look like they're going to do something for you. Now, if you're 25, it might be easier to get sucked into that false hope. But when you're 50s or 60s or 70 and you've seen it so many times, no, can't fall for it. Cannot fall for it. So everything is a lie. And it's sad to tell you about that. It's sad to talk about that. But it's more of a warning. It's more of a warning so that you can start to strategize with your support systems. How are you going to manage it? How are you going to navigate it? So I would not be surprised at all if now that they've got this thing with MTG and Massie set up, and people are buying into it, and I'm going to stand with them. What's the next thing that happens after they want you to stand with them? Cha-ching! Cha-ching! You're going to get the robocalls, the text messages, the solicitations by email, and they're going to say, listen, I'm the only one fighting for you. I'm the only one fighting that bully in the White House right now, Trump. And that's a temporary thing. She'll come back around and go, President Trump's been good about this or that or the other thing. Right now, she's been given permission to, fight the big bad bully. And with all this negative, they never let a negative thing go to waste. So now a lot of people are fed up with Trump, and it's always a way to capitalize. How are we going to capitalize on this? Well, We're going to put MTG in there. He wrote the nasty, Trump wrote the nasty Truth Social tweet about Massie marrying a longtime friend, a year or 18 months or something, like it was like a day or something, after his wife passed and all that. And now people are like, pearl clutching. Well, I never. That's so rude of President Trump. Now they got you where they want you. So they've defined the big bad wolf for you, and they bring in Massie and bring in MTG as the wronged, to garner your sympathy, the martyrs. I'm going to stand by them. Well, I can't do anything else because I live here in Montana, or I'm up in Washington State, or I'm down in Memphis. I'll write them a check. Got to keep them in there because they're doing something for us. Trump's trying to get them out. I've got to write them a check so they stay in. Guys, it's the playbook. Gosh darn it, it's the playbook. Man, how come you not see that? Okay, I am going to sign off because I'm going to a birthday party for Jonah Bolt's little boy today. Little guy, so cute. So I have to get myself together, and I can't think of a more beautiful way to spend a Sunday afternoon than celebrating life. So I hope you have a beautiful day too. Let me know what you think in the comments. I basically read all comments. I am going to start doing more live streams on StreamYard so that I can interact with you in real time. I thought that was really fun a few days ago. I'm going to try to do at least one of those a week. And that's about it, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. God bless you. Please remember that it always, when it's government, it always should be considered a lie until proven otherwise. Happy Sunday. All good.